So we're doing more on the Mayan Popol Vuh. It's an ancient text of Mexico. Let's begin. And the third to magnify himself is the second son of Sebamaca, named Earthquake. I am the breaker of mountains, he said. But even so, Juanapu and Zipalanque defeated the earthquake. Then Hurricane spoke. Newborn thunderbolt, sudden thunderbolt, he spoke to Juanapu and Zipalanque. The second son of Sebamaca is another who should be defeated. This is my word, because what they do on the face of the earth is now good. They are surpassing the sun in size, in weight, and it should not be that way. Lure this earthquake into sitting down over there in the east, Hurricane told the boys. Okay, so we got this Hurricane is plotting to kill Earthquake, and he's seeking the aid of the two boys. Very well, your lordship, there is more to be done. What we see is no good. Isn't it a question of your position and your eminence, sir, heart of the sky? The two boys said when they responded to the word of the hurricane. Meanwhile, he pressed on, this earthquake, breaker of mountains. Just by lightly tapping his foot on the ground, he instantly demolishes the mountains, great and small. When he met up with the two boys, he said, Where are you going, boy? They asked Earthquake. I'm not going anywhere. I just scatter the mountains, and I'm the one who breaks them in. In the course of the days, in the course of the light, he said, when he answered. Then the Earthquake asked Juanapu and Zipalanque, Where did you come from? I don't know your faces. What are your names? Said Earthquake. We have no names. We just hunt and trap in the mountains. We're just orphans. We have nothing to call our own, boy. We're just making our way among the mountains, small and great, boy. And there's one great mountain we saw that's just growing right along. It's rising really high. It's just swelling up, rising above all other mountains. And there weren't even one or two birds to be found, boy. So how could it be that you destroy all the mountains, boy? Interesting. Juanapu and Zipalanque said that to the earthquake. It can't be true you saw the mountain you're talking about. Where is it? You'll see me knock it down yet. Where did you see it? Well, it's over there. In the east, said Juanapu and Zipalanque. Good, lead the way, the two boys were told. Not so. You take the middle. Stay here between us. One of us at your left, the other at your right. Because of our blowguns. If there are birds, we'll shoot, they said. They enjoy practicing their shooting. And this is the way they shoot. The shot of their blowguns isn't made of earth. They just blow at the birds when they shoot, to the amazement of Earthquake. And then the boys made fire with a drill and roasted the birds over the fire. And they coated one of the birds with plaster. They put gypsum on it. So this is the one we'll give him when he's hungry. And when he favors the aroma of our birds, that will be victory. Since we've covered his birds with baked earth. In the earth we must cook it, and in the earth must be his grave. If the great knower, the one to be made and modeled, is to have a sowing and dawning, said the boys. Because of this, the human heart will desire a bite of meat, a meal of flesh, just as the heart of the earthquake will desire it. Juanapu and Zipalanque said that to each other. Then they roasted the birds and cooked them until they were brown, dripping with fat that oozed from the backs of the birds, with an overwhelmingly fragrant aroma. Sounds good. And this is Earthquake's, and that's what he wants to be fed. His mouth just waters. He gulps and slurps with spittle and saliva because of the fragrance of the birds. So then he asked, What are you eating? I smell a truly delicious aroma. Please, give me a little bit, he said. And when they gave a bird to Earthquake, he was good as defeated. After he had finished off the bird, they went on until they arrived in the east, where the great mountain was. Meanwhile, Earthquake had lost his strength in his legs and arms. He couldn't go on because of the earth that coated the bird he'd eaten. So now there was nothing he could do to the mountain. Interesting. He never recovered. He was destroyed. So then he was bound by the two boys. His hands were bound behind him. When his hands had been secured by the boys, his ankles were bound to his wrist. Hogtied, I think that's called. After that, they threw him down. They buried him in the earth. Such is the defeat of Earthquake. It's Huanapu and Zibalanque yet again. Their deeds on the face of the earth are countless. And now we shall explain the birth of Huanapu and Zibalanque, having first explained the defeat of Seven Macaw, along with Sipacna and Earthquake, here on the face of the earth. Dang! So, this Earthquake guy, child of Seven Macaw, he literally can destroy mountains by just going up and being like tap tap and it all crumbles down. He has that kind of power, yet again, kind of like the other story of Zipacna, Earthquake is kind of tricked by hunger, right? Because if he wouldn't have been hungry, he wouldn't have smelled that deliciousness of the chicken. Well, we don't know if it's a chicken. It said a bird, but I guess that's me, right? I'm pretending it's a chicken, but it just says bird. And he gets, starts salivating, he says, and he's like, I want some of that. So, but they covered, the Mayans and the Aztecs used to use plaster, right? And they covered the bird in plaster. He eats it, and it takes away his power. That's interesting, right? And then they bind him up, and he dies. And then he dies because they buried him. That's crazy. These two boys cause a lot of trouble. I mean, they're defeating these beings, right? But is Earthquake necessarily a villain if you think about it? I mean, yeah, he has the power of Earthquake, but clearly he was kind of just chilling, minding his own business, and then these two guys show up, and he ends up dead. So, that's so funny. Oh, it's tragic. So, lesson learned, family? Be careful when someone offers you food and you're hungry. I don't know. What kind of lesson do you get from that? I don't know. It's a cool myth, though. It's a cool myth.